So tell us about you, your name, state, marital status, and occupation.
Okay. My name is Tatiana and Ellis. I am married. I am a special education teacher for preschool. Okay, stop fighting. Mother of twins who fight all day. Um, and what was the other question? Age, occupation, marital status. I think that was it.
That was good. So, I'll let you go.
Shh.
So, how did you find out that you were infertile?
It started when I was about 14. I had my appendix, they ruptured. And I kept going back and forth to the hospital. They kept telling me it was nothing, till finally it did ruptured, and I had emergency surgery to remove basically all the things that happened within my abdomen. And after recovery, the doctor kind of hinted towards it. It was like there was a lot of scar tissue and a lot of damage from the rupture. So he did explain to my mother and me, and this time it was like 14, 15, that I may have some difficulties because of the scar tissue and the placement of where it was. So I always knew that it was a possibility, but I never knew like the extent of it until um I turned like 21, and then, thought like, I haven't been pregnant like all this time and dealing with different boyfriends I was with. And then at the time I was married to my first husband. And after trying, I was told like I had blocked fallopian tubes. I had a couple of, fertility makeup tests done, and those tests indicated that one of my tubes was blocked. And so, shh, quiet voices. And so my doctor at the time was like, it's not impossible, but your chances are not as high as somebody with two functioning tubes. So this was at age 20, 22, 23, I believe so. um After that relationship ended, I did end up getting pregnant, but it wasn't a topic. But I kind of, in the back of my head, after the pregnancy test and everything, knew that it wasn't like a pregnancy that would go to full term. And so I kept telling my GYN at this time, it was a different one I had. I kept telling her, like, I really would want to, weigh out the possibilities of an atopic, just for the fact that I know with my history it's possible. And she kept saying, no, you're fine, you're fine. And so every week, from that test, I kept going for ultrasounds, just to see if it was a placement, if it was anything, and nothing. And so I kept begging her, can you please look elsewhere? Because atopics could be in your tubes, it could be anywhere outside of the uterus. Please look elsewhere. And I'm trying to educate her because I'm like, look, I know that this is just not typical, because it just doesn't feel, I've never been pregnant, but I don't feel like that kind of connection. I just don't feel like it's something that's going to go to term. So long story short, she kept ignoring my wishes till finally one day, I want to say around this time, I had to be like maybe 8 weeks. I started feeling like just this pain that is undescribable pain, like to the point where I couldn't get out of the bed, to the point where my mom had to come and get me out my apartment and take me to the hospital. And from the hospital, immediately they take me to the back. They did an ultrasound and they found out the topic ruptured. And so I had a lot of fluid, a lot of blood in my abdomen. So I had to have emergency surgery. And that emergency surgery led to me losing my right tube.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Sorry to hear.
yeah, yeah,
I want to ask you a question. So, was your physician, were they African American? Were
they
they
were not.
okay?
They were not. No.
It
Makes
explains
sense.
it.
Yes.
No. In New York, like I'm in New York and I'm in like the five boroughs. And at the time, because with a lot of OBs, you are like limited by your insurance provider. And so my insurance provider at the time, only limited certain places that I can go. And so this is how I got this OB. And at the time, the OB would shift some of the responsibilities to the physician assistant a lot. And so, with a lot of like concerns that I had, it would, okay, well, speak to her and speak to her. And then before the topic even happened, he went on vacation. And so I would have to sit with the physician assistant. And she's the one who ignored my concern. So I can't really put all the blame on the OB that I had at the time. I had to put it on her. Um, so when everything happened and the rupture happened, I had emergency surgery. The doctor that I had, who's my OB now, Love him to death. He seen my face, he's seen how concerned I was. He prayed with me. Um,
Beautiful.
Go get daddy.
Because you don't get that always.
No, he sat down, he prayed with me, he let me know, like, look, this is just, something that has to be done, but this doesn't mean this is the end of you being a mother. Let's take care of this. Let's get you where we need to get you, and then we'll figure out from there. That was like 9 years ago, I want to say. And after that and everything happened, he's been my OB since. He's delivered my twins. He's been on the journey. He's literally guided me towards what I need to do to get to the point of motherhood. Because every year after, he would make sure, how is your mental? How are you feeling? Like he's a lifesaver. He's literally like 5'2", short Jewish guy. He's not African American, but love him the same. He literally is like almost family. Like he calls and asks for updates. He knows my mother. He knows my husband. He knows everybody in my house. Um, and I've kept him since. Even when I did eventually get pregnant and I was scared, he made sure, look, you're going to maternal fetal health medicine just to make sure. You're going to come to me every week. Like he literally had everything down. We're going to make it to the finish line. And every concern I had, if I was like, I don't feel this, he gave me his personal, call me. I'm home, call me. I will call him for everything. Go to the hospital. I'll meet you there. Like that was literally like his mind frame. Like he is a blessing because I was scared. I did not know anything regarding, especially carrying twins. And me finding out I was pregnant, I did IVF. And so I did 3 rounds of IVF with 2 transfers. The first didn't work, the second did. And before doing IVF, I had went to CNY Fertility, which I freaking hate them. But
That's
that's
what I
something
was gonna,
different.
yeah, we were gonna ask, like, well, we know where you are in your journey, but like, how did you embark on your IVF journey?
So I met my husband through our siblings got married, and then I met my husband. So he's brother-in-law and husband, which is now saying it sounds weird, but it is what it is. Um, I met him. He wasn't looking for anything like real serious. We were just dating, and he said, "I don't want to get married till 3 years." We ended up getting married six months of meeting each other, and everything just happened. Boom, 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 boom. Married. Talked about children, dating. Told him about my struggles because my main thing is because I know about my fertility issues. I didn't want him to have unrealistic expectations marrying me, thinking like, "Hey, we get married, we'll have a kid." So I had to be transparent with him just to see how it was before even marriage and let him know, this is my journey, this is the possibility. And he was fine with that. It's like, all right, whatever we have to do. Like my husband's a Taurus. Like he's very cool, calm, collective. He goes with the flow. He doesn't have problems with anything. Like I explained everything to him and he was like, all right, what do we have to do? And so we were not even 2 months into being married, and I found out about CNY through friends and mutual friends who went through them. I had some who had good experiences. I had some who didn't. And at the time, I didn't have any type of insurance. So CNY seemed like the best option because of the payment plans and affordability. So I was very persistent on let's try this. And so I was able to get a consultation. From the consultation, everything just pretty much happened fast. Consultation, stem medication and ultrasounds and all these other things. And because CNY is upstate and I'm in like the 5 boroughs, I had to do all my monitoring and everything local. And then they would send it to them by 1 o'clock to make sure I was at the right cycle and everything. And so I did the CNY route for the first round. Didn't like them at all because CNY doesn't really cater to your anything that would be more personal for you. They just use like a standard. And with the standard, I really didn't like that it wasn't tailored to my care, being that everybody's not the same. Everybody's fertility struggles and issues don't mirror each other. So CNY for me wasn't the best option because they weren't able to personalize my care. And so that cycle was the worst out of all 3 that I've had. I ended up getting, I want to say 17 eggs. Out of the 17, only 10 fertilized. Out of the 10, we ended up with 1 embryo. And in between those, I never knew what happened. Like, no explanation, no real, detailed information as to why only 1 embryo survived out of all of that. And at the time when I started, I was 34 and I had a great health. I had great everything. So for me, it just didn't make any sense, and nobody could explain. It got to the point where I was demanding to know what happened, and Dr. Kiltz, I believe that's his name, personally called me to explain, and he was like, "Well, if you want to come back, we'll give you a nice discount." And to me, it's like, I'm not an animal. This is
Yeah.
not a
They work
factory.
like cattle. I should explain, CNY is like an affordable option for infertility. And they do appeal to a lot of women that don't have insurance or
Mhm.
want to go the self-pay route. I think it's like 5.99,
It's
whatever.
more. They
Oh, it's more.
advertise that, but it's really not. Because at the same time, that's I got coffee too. Thank you. They advertise that because at the same time, they don't put into consideration medication. They don't put into consideration monitoring appointments. They don't put any of that into consideration. So at the same time, even though it advertises that, my cycle for CNY was about $7,000, probably eight. I want to say 7 or 8,000. Go with daddy.
And
Go
then
eat.
once
Go
you
eat.
calculate in your mileage and everything else, like
Yes.
expensive.
Your hotel fee, medication is not even cheap. I don't think anybody really knows until you have to pay out of pocket how expensive it is. Like just for that cycle with CNY, thank God I'm very resourceful and was in a lot of groups and found ways um of women. I know it's frowned upon, but this is what I did would help. And I'm in New York and I'm in Queens, Bronx, I'm everywhere. I'm in so many different groups, and so many women are going through the same exact thing. A lot of them are like self paid. And so they have extra medication they can't get rid of. And so a lot of them pay it forward. And so they donate. So I was thankfully and happy to receive a lot of them that I couldn't really afford at the time because, like I said, CNY never told me that medication wasn't included. And so because it wasn't included, I had to scramble because I already started the whole process, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have within a week to get almost $5,000 to $6,000 worth of medication. And so that was how I was able to do the first round. However, they just were not for me, and I tell people all the time to just go by your best judgment. Yes, it's cool because they do the entire thing of being affordable, and the payment plan really appeals to everybody because at the same time, not everybody can afford to put $10,000 to $20,000 down for just a retrieval. CNY does it where you just put $2,000 down for your retrieval and then you come back and pay the rest for the transfer, which was appealing for me at first. But then when it didn't work and I didn't have an idea why, I was stuck. So I'm like back at the drawing board.
Yeah. So whenever they did like your first transfer, so you stated that it didn't work. So
No.
they were like, come back and we'll give you a discount.
Yes. So before even doing the transfer, once my husband and I ended up staying for the week because we were, you can do a fresh transfer, you can do this. So with a fresh transfer, you're able to do it like within a couple of days after your retrieval. So we're like, we might as well just stay up here. So we went to Albany. So we're like, we might as well stay up here, see what happens. And so we waited almost a week and a half. And finally they said, okay, you only have one, but we're watching two more at the same time. Those two more never, and from what they said, never made it past dividing the cells. So it fertilized, but it never made it past that. And so once they were like, well, you can do the transfer the one, I'm like, okay, so someone explained to me what happened. So when he called, he was like, well, it's just one of those situations where we can't really give you an explanation because we're not monitoring all the time. We're just monitoring for updates. So if you want to return, we'll give you like a heavy discount for you to do your next round. And I'm like, at this point, if you can't even tell me what happened in the first, why would I continue to pay you guys? No. I said, no, thank
It's your
you.
body. You're risking like it's a whole
Mm-hmm.
process. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
strenuous process to go through to give yourself that many shots just to get up to the point of the egg retrieval and then having to turn around and do it all over again.
Yeah, it just was not appealing to me. And I just didn't feel like the care was there for me, especially being 30, 34, especially doing everything that you're saying, doing these monitoring appointments literally every day before going to work, giving myself injections, taking all this medication that you guys have me on. It just didn't make any sense. And so I decided not to do it and just was like, I'm going to find a different route because CNY is not for me. I did end up transferring because I wasn't able to do a fresh cycle because I found out later on from the new doctor that they gave me way too much medication, which made my body not able to handle a fresh transfer. So I had to wait anyway.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why they're just not on my list of people. I don't refer them to anybody. I tell them if you can find other means and I try to help people, then we can do that. But CNY is just not for me at all.
Like IVF, as strenuous as the process is, it definitely has to be a personalized treatment plan. So
Hmm.
you did get to the clinic that was good and great for you and worked out for you. What is the best and worst thing that you experienced with them?
The best thing is they gave me my twins. The new clinic was more personal. The main doctor is African American. What he did that I love is I was going to his partner. She used to do fertility and she stopped. And so she just basically does just basic OB care and she'll do monitoring appointments for them. She's the one who told me, look, she wasn't a fan of CNY, but because so many of her patients were from CNY, she was not able to really dig into it. But she's like, look, if you don't like CNY, I have a friend. His name is Melvin. He's a great doctor. He works in Manhattan. This is what you should try to see if you can do. Because at the time I had no insurance, but I ended up at the time it was COVID. I'm a teacher, so we were not allowed back in for almost a year and a half. So me being the person I am, I'm like, I'm not going to sleep till I figure out how I'm going to get these kids. I can't afford another CNY. I don't want to do it. I need to find better care. So I'm in all these groups and listening, and then someone mentions Amazon, and I'm like, Amazon, the delivery? And she's like, no, I work at the warehouse. And at this time, Amazon in New York was literally every week, a different warehouse was popping up everywhere.
Mm.
So I'm like, let me look into this. And I ended up using the hours. So I would teach in the morning from 8 o'clock because I would do virtual Zoom. I would have to do 2 sessions in the morning. So I would work in the morning. And then during the time, if there was no meetings for the day, I would search and Zoom. Long story short, I ended up finding not one, but two different positions. The first one was in Manhattan, and the time was from 6 o'clock to 5 in the morning. So after 5, I would rush back home. And I was living in Brooklyn at the time. I would rush back home to Brooklyn, get a couple hours of sleep, wake up, and teach. And I would do this. I did it for about, I want to say 2 months. So I was able to use Amazon's fertility benefits to start the first round. And with the first round, this doctor was more inclined with me. And he's like, look, before I even say anything, I need to see all your paperwork from where you went. So I got my paperwork, seeing why I was giving a lot of pushback. They didn't want to send it. He sat down for a day and went through every sheet, every medical thing that they did. And he pinpoints certain areas where he's seen, okay, I seen a surge here. I seen where you should have stopped taking medication here. You shouldn't have even been on this high dosage. Like he literally sat down with me and my husband and broke down everything of where he's seen inconsistencies and where he's seen problems within my first cycle. And he said straight up, I'm not doing that. This is what we're doing. Your body, to me, needs longer stimulation.
Mm.
CNY did only 8 days of stimulation. And
What?
he's like, he said, I see where the problem happened at day 4 to day 5 of your cycle. This is where the medication seemed to do something to your body where it seems like it increased instead of it being able to like stretch. They gave you way too much, way too fast because they wanted to probably shorten the cycle to try to get you out. That's why I call CNY a factory.
Yeah, they were
They
herding
don't listen.
cattle. Like it makes
It,
you
it,
feel
it,
like a
liter-
livestock.
it literally is because they want to get so many people at one time retrieving so they can keep the whole thing going. And so he's like, at this day is where the surge is not supposed to be this high. And so he's like, what I'm going to do is, he told me straight up, I'm going to get you your baby. I'm not going to promise you this cycle, but within these 2 rounds that you're able to do with your benefits, I'm going to get you your child. This is what we're doing. I'm starting you with, instead of being on Menopur, I'm going to start you on low dose. I think it was low dose estrogen, I believe. I can't remember the name at the moment. Um, Instead of having this, because CNY had me at the the dosage I was taking was very high. I can't remember right now, but he's like, no, you don't even need that high, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch your cycle out. Instead of these 8 days, I'm going to try to do 16 to 17. I ended up stimming for like 18 days. But within those 18 days, I went to him every day to make sure that it was going the way and I was getting enough eggs in for me to continue with the retrieval. And so by day 17, he's like, all right, you're done. We're going to do your transfer. Take this medication. I'll see you tomorrow morning. And so what I liked is, because I was a teacher, he was able to make sure it fell on a Saturday so I wouldn't have to go back to work immediately after. And so my retrieval was on a Saturday. I did have some hiccups, so this is probably the bad part of it. My first retrieval, because you're not supposed to have anything and all this other stuff, I ended up being dehydrated.
Mm.
Story, Vegas, relax. Um, I ended up being very dehydrated, and so they couldn't find a vein. And me, I'm typically a hard person to stick with getting blood or anything, so I always get it out my hands. So my hands were so, the veins were so tiny they couldn't even stick even the smallest needle in. And so I was pricked maybe 12 times
Oh my goodness.
to try to go under, to the point where he was like, I'm gonna have to probably just do it with you awake. So he was prepping my uterus to numb everything so he could retrieve while I was still awake.
Oh my
He
goodness.
tried and he took a couple, and I felt everything. I don't care what he says. I numbed you, prepped you. I felt everything. And so he's like, we're going to take a break. So he left, took me out of the retriever room, put me in another room, brought my husband in. I'm literally crying because he's like, look, I don't want to stress you, but we have a time before we no longer can use these eggs. They're no longer viable. So now I'm crying, I'm crying, I'm crying. And he had this very, very nice nurse. And she's like, I've been doing this for 20 something years. Let me go in, because the person they had in, she's like, I don't want to, step on his toes, but if you prefer, I want to try. So I said, please, whatever. So they gave me another 15 minutes. They brought me back in the room. She used a heat pack and she used a light. So
Mm.
she warmed an area and then she used a light. I kid you not. I don't know if it was like an angel coming, but she pricked me one time,
Wow.
went right in. I was under. I woke up in the recovery room. So that was the worst experience because of that. But aside from that, everything from start to finish was on my terms. They listened to me. They listened to my body. He made sure that I was comfortable with everything, from the retrieval to the medicine to everything. And everything was explained to me. It wasn't just, all right, you come tomorrow and do this. No, you're going to come tomorrow because we need to make sure that the eggs are growing at the rate that I want them to grow and we're having a nice number. So everything was explained. And I refer him to everybody. I think about 5 of my friends have had babies with him because they like the care that he's more consistent. Hi, baby. You want a bagel? Yeah. Um, so that was the bad. The good was I got my twins. Even though I wasn't really, so when we did the transfer, eventually did the transfer, um, everything was recorded. My husband recorded everything. I didn't really expect, because at the time Progeny allowed you to transfer two.
Mhm.
And so he asked me right before, do you want to do one or two? So for me, I was like, I don't know, because I already had this first cycle that didn't work and didn't pan out and ended up not having any to transfer again. But at the same time, my husband already has identical twin girls. And so I already knew the chances could be up. And so he explained that to me too before transfer. Look, if you're going to do two, this is the situation that you're going to be in. Just be very mindful that the possibility of both of them sticking or it's splitting multiples. Because at that time, I had a friend who transferred one and she ended up with triplets. So
Oh,
I'm already in my head. I'm
oh
like,
my gosh.
do I really want to do this? Especially my husband seems to be making twins like off the rip. So I'm like, let me think about it. And so I spoke to my husband. I'm like, what do you think? And, he's like, whatever you want to do. Like my husband, if I tell him I want to transfer three, which I would never do, he would probably say, okay. He just literally goes with the flow of everything. So we had to sign paperwork. We had to go through a whole counseling. We had to do everything, even to like when we send the embryos for genetic testing, we had to sit down with their genetic coordinator and he had to explain all the things and the possibility. Like they were thorough, very thorough. Like I didn't go in this blind. I knew every step and everything that they were doing. So when we finally said, you know what, let's just do two. Like after when we said, let's do two. Let's do a boy and a girl. Like we're just rambling at this point because we got to this point of having two back to back. So I ended up doing back to back retrievals. I did my first September 11th, which is my dad's birthday. And then I did the second one immediately after in November. I don't remember the November day. I just remember September 11th because it was my dad's birthday. So we ended up doing it in November, September or November. So he prepped me once I finished with the first round. He gave me a little time for my body to like regulate back again, but not enough to not have a little bit left in. And then I started stims all over again. So I did pretty fairly good with him because he was able to listen to my body and everything. But once we did the transfer, we ended up doing it 5 months later, which is another story. Um, this journey has been so crazy because you find different things you did not know about while you're doing all these stims and things. So I ended up in October finding out I had fibroids and the placements weren't going to affect as far as the transfer. But because of the first transfer not really taking, he wanted to make sure everything was good. Hold on. Sorry, what happened? It's okay. Come, come, come. Call your sister. Call your sister. You want baby? Kaylee? Babe, can you get her doll for her? She just knocked the whole stroller down for her baby. My daughter has 20 dolls, like, and she has to have all of them in an area at the same time. And so she's going crazy because her Minnie Mouse doll's in the stroller that she left. Sorry. This is every day. Like, there's never a quiet time ever. I come here, they follow me. I stay in the room, they follow me. They follow me everywhere. But that's neither here nor there. So I did find out the fibroids were not in placements that would be a big problem, but he wanted to rule out all the possibilities. So I ended up getting my fibroids removed, and I had polyps in my uterus. So I had those removed. And then at the same time, while they're doing this, I had a hernia repair that I didn't know about.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So because I opted to do all of that, I had to sit out for 5 months to recover. And so within those 5 months of recovering, I decided to get myself mentally and physically ready. I started eating better. I started exercising. I started taking care of myself because this whole journey had made me gain 15 pounds that I did not want. So I started walking, and I had fat feet. Thanks, babe. So I started walking. I'll do the interview. Can you not call out though? So I started walking more. I started eating better. I started just being a better me. Babe, get them out of here. They're crying. What? How, Vegas?
We can't hear them.
You can't? Oh
Uh-uh.
my gosh. Bless your heart, you can't. Go watch Winnie the Pooh. Um, they're like literally crying, screaming, doing crazy stuff. So I got myself better. I stopped eating red meat. I started eating more chicken. I started eating more vegetables. I started eating more pineapples, drinking pineapples, making my own pineapple tea. I just was doing anything to just get a better me.
Yeah.
And so once the 5 months came, we did the transfer. I didn't feel any different. I didn't even think it worked, honestly, because I had a friend who transferred 2 months prior and was pregnant. And then I had another fertility friend who was pregnant with twins. Like I was just around pregnant people. So I'm like, I don't think this worked. I didn't feel no different. I didn't feel anything. Like, honestly, I felt like me. I was still walking around. I was still eating healthy, but I didn't feel different. And so my husband was like, it didn't, if it didn't work, it didn't work. We'll just do it again. So I'm like, all right. So I didn't think anything of it. So we went to Manhattan and we were walking around. We ate some food. The only thing that I did notice is I started eating red meat again. And it was more so of like craving red meat, which is weird because I didn't have it for 5 months. So I was eating it and I'm like, nah, it's just my mind. Cause you get to the point where when you're on this journey that you start making up things in your head and you start associating it with pregnancy and things. And I'm like, it didn't work. So I ended up now, I was done with Amazon. I did 2 rounds with Amazon and I ended up getting another job working at Tractor Supply, just in case, because you get to the point that, okay, if it didn't work, I need to make sure I continue with these benefits. So I ended up working at Tractor Supply, and I left for my shift because I worked only on the weekends. I loved that job, honestly, but I ended up not staying. Um, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just get it out my head because my beta, like my beta reading isn't till Friday. But I'm an optimist. I'm okay with being disappointed, and I'd rather be disappointed in the comfort of my own home than around all these people at the clinic. So I ended up just grabbing a test from Walmart on my break. I used the bathroom. I used it. I looked at it. I didn't see anything. I threw it in the trash. So then I called my sister and she was like, "Did you even like wait for it to like process?" And I'm like, "Isn't it right away?" She was like, "No, you got to actually wait a couple minutes for it to show something." And I was like, all right, I'll go back and get it in the trash." So I get it out the trash and it's like faint lines. And I'm like, maybe it just timed out. She's like, "Just take another one." I'm like, no, I'm like, I don't have time for all this. She said, "Just take another one and just sit with it for at least 5 minutes." So I'm like, all right. I had a second one. So I said, all right, let me take it. So I took it, sat on the toilet. I'm talking to her and she's like, "Wait, like, I don't know why you're just so impatient. Like, you just like bad news." I'm like, it's not that I like bad news. When you're in this point of this journey, you get to the point where bad news is just a welcoming comfort. I'd rather know now.
Yep.
So I took it, same thing. It looked exactly like the other one. And I showed her and she was like, "That's a positive." And I'm like, it's a blue dye. It's not really showing. I'll try again tomorrow. Like all these things that you learn from the fertility community. I'm like, it's a blue dye. She's like, "What the heck does that mean?" I'm like, "It doesn't work." And she's literally telling me, because my sister is fertile mortal, unfortunately. She literally will take a Dollar Tree test and it'll come positive right away. He's like, "No, it's right, it's right." And I'm like, I'll get a digital tomorrow morning. It's not that deep. She's like, "All right, whatever." So I hang up with her and I call my husband. I'm like, "Look, I took this test. What do you think?" He's like, "I think it's positive." I'm like, I don't think so. I'll take another one tomorrow. He's like, "All right, I'll go to the store." I was like, "Get me one that says it. I need words.
To say pregnant or not.
Pregnant, not pregnant, and then we can move on." He's like, "All right, I'll grab it for you. When you come home, you'll see it." So my shift ended at 6. I was working in Jersey, so I'm traveling back home, and he's talking to me the whole way. He's like, "I can't wait till you take the test," and this is like, he's just so excited, and I'm like, why is everybody more excited than I am? I don't know. Maybe because I know the last one didn't work, so I'm preparing myself mentally for disappointment. So I take the test. I get home. I take the test, and it said pregnant. Still not registering. So it's probably defaulted. He's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I don't really." He's like, "Look, I'm gonna go get a pink dye, a blue tie, one that says pregnant, and one that says how many weeks. If that makes you feel better, you could take all of them." And I'm like, "Yeah, that probably make me feel better." So he's like, "All right." So he walks to the store. He walks to the store. He grabs all of them at CVS right before they close. He's like, "All right, take them." So I take one by one by one by one, and they all come up. This one turns pink instantly. The blue is a little bit stronger. It says pregnant. This one says pregnant, 6 to 8. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is right. He's like, "What is wrong with you? This is right." So it didn't register to me. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm pregnant. He's like, "Yeah, you're pregnant." And I'm like, all right, we'll see. So now being a person that had an ectopic, being a person that did the transfer didn't work, it's still not registering to me. But I know, okay, at this point, 4 tests can't be wrong. So I'm collecting these tests and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take another one tomorrow morning. Maybe it'll be brighter. So it didn't register till I want to say that Friday when I had to go to the doctor's appointment. But now at this time, I'm bleeding. So now I'm bleeding heavy, bright red blood. And I'm like, there goes the disappointment. So in my head, I'm like already, okay, well, maybe it did work, but now I'm miscarrying because I'm just bleeding and it's not stopping. And so I tell the doctor and whatever. And he's like, "Well, it doesn't mean you're out. Let's just do an ultrasound." And I'm like, all right, whatever. So the nurse that I started the whole process with pulls me to the side and she's like, "Red doesn't necessarily mean you're out. It can just be implantation. It could be so many different factors. Don't get yourself in the spiral that you usually do, Tatiana." And I'm like, "Why everybody thinks I spiral?" She's like, "I know you. I've known you since you started. You're spiraling. Just be patient and leave it alone." So I'm like, "All right, no problem." So they took the ultrasound test and then they're like, "We see." at this time, only one showed up. We see like a pregnancy. I said, "Oh, okay, that's good, right?" He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna come back in." He said, "I want you to come back like in 2 to 3 days because I want to make sure that it's only one because they took like the blood to find out like the HCG levels, and he's like, your levels are little high, but not high enough where I would think multiples because." My first beta was 167. The next one that I took after was like 2000 something. So he's like, even though it's like jumping, I don't want to say that because multiples don't necessarily mean high numbers. So let's be, realistic and whatever. So I ended up waiting, but I'm a teacher. And so now we're back in the classroom and COVID is still rampant in New York. I ended up getting COVID
Oh,
in
wow.
my classroom. And so with the COVID, I had to leave immediately. And because now I know I'm pregnant, I had to go to the hospital. And so I go to the hospital and I tell them, I said, I'm pregnant. I've taken tests so I had a Black doctor and she was like, let's make sure everything is good with you. So I explained to her, I said, yeah, I did IVF. We transferred 2 embryos. They did say they seen one. She's like, let's just make sure everything is good. So they take me to get ultrasound, but at the hospital, the ultrasound tech can't discuss what they see with you. So she's like, I can't tell you what I see, but I see something that's going to probably make your day. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people and not telling me nothing? She's like, just wait for the doctor. So the doctor comes in and she said, we see 2 strong heartbeats, 2 fetal poles, and this and this and that. And
Wow.
by now, I'm like, where did this one come from? I'm like, they just seen one not too long ago. She's like, yeah, we see 2. It's very strong. And she gives me the thing. I call my husband and he's like in shock. He doesn't even respond. And I'm like, babe, he's like, so wait, you have COVID? That's the only thing he heard. I'm like, yes.
He's like,
And
first of
I'm
all,
pregnant with
let's worry
twins.
about COVID.
So right now I'm like, okay. So he's like, all right, so when will you be home? And I'm like, did you hear what I just said? He's like, yeah, you have COVID. I said, babe, they seem 2. There's 2 babies in there. So now it registers. He's like, oh man, 2? I said, yep, you're about to be a father of 4.
Well, we
So
do want to say congratulations to you on your twins.
thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
and thank you so much for sharing your story with us. You have a beautiful
Yeah.
story, and I hope that your story will help someone on their
I
journey.
do. I
So,
do too.
but
Thank you for having me.
oh no, it
Yes,
was
thank
it
you.
was our pleasure. And I'll send you links and everything whenever we
Okay.
put everything together. But thank you so much for sharing your story with
Yes.
us. It was
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it. This is fun. I haven't spoke about this in like 2 years. And they're gonna be 3 next January.
well,
So
it's
it's like
good to get it back out and to acknowledge where you've come from.
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
Anytime. You have an amazing day.
You too. I hope I didn't ramble too much and I hope I
No,
didn't
no,
interfere
No,
anything.
not at
no,
All
not
right.
all.
at all. We
Just want to make sure.
thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you. Bye,
Have a
ladies.
great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I knew I had something to do, Hannah. I done forgot what it was. Last week I was too early. This week I listen. I'm working on myself.
It happens. We all go through it. But thank you for joining us today. Tell us about yourself.
Oh, geez, which I want to know.
So we can start with like name, state, marital status, and occupation.
Okay, cool. So my name is Bria. I am 31. I'll be 32 on September 12th, y'all. Won't God do it,
Birthday
y'all?
soon.
Okay. Um, I live in Georgia. I am divorced, honey, and complicated right now. This my thing. I don't know if I'm coming or going, okay? But
Sorry.
it's what I got going on. I had seen the questions y'all sent me. Y'all gonna ask those to me, or how we gonna do this?
Yeah. So what do you do for work?
What do I do for work, baby? Some of everything. Okay. But I work for during the day, a billing company for hospitals. I don't do medical billing and coding. I don't do the coding part, but I do the billing part.
Okay.
So,
Okay. What
mm.
part of Georgia are you in?
I live a little bit outside of Atlanta, but I live in Lithonia, or I think they call this Stonecrest now, honey. They trying to be new. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So this is where I stay, honey.
So, how did you find out that you were infertile?
So let's see. When I was sorry, y'all. When I was like in my 20s, I would get pregnant, but I would always like miscarry. And the doctors that I was going to at the time would always say, like, it's just not your time.
Okay.
They would always be like, I don't think that there's anything wrong. Um, they would be like, oh, well, you could get pregnant. So, there's nothing going. So I went through that for years. Then, probably about when I was like 24, baby, my period left the building. Okay. I didn't see that girl for years. So then I couldn't get pregnant. I was like, okay, I'm in the relationship. I'm married. Like, what is going on? Nothing was going on. Okay. Now looking back, I'm like, you know what you was doing. I ain't need no baby with that man. But but I was like, what's going on? So in 2021, I had my son DJ, and he was born at 26 weeks. He didn't make it. He was born sleeping. But after that, I just knew in my head. I said, "No, something wrong. Something wrong. Like this not right. Something is completely wrong." So I ended up going to a new OB, and I told that OB, like, I wanna go to like a reproductive specialist, which I didn't even know that was a thing, y'all. Like I didn't even know. I think by that time I had joined like a Facebook group. I didn't know what was going on, honey, but I was like, I want to see them. They're gonna tell me something. So they referred me to one doctor. That doctor was just like, oh, go straight into IVF. I said, baby, wait. Like, we don't even know each other. Like, wait a minute. So I was like, okay. I read all that man reviews, and everybody was like, he was all about money. I said, oh, no, 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 no. So then I was like, okay, what do I know about myself? So thinking back, I'm like, okay, I done had all these miscarriages. I think there's something wrong with like me, like what's going on with me or whatever. And then my mama is older, y'all. So, older, well, I don't know, but this is my experience. Older Black women, they're going to tell you a little bit, but they ain't going to tell you everything.
Yep.
So, like, in me asking questions, my mom was like, I was born 2 months early, those different type of things. That's all she said. Then I know at one point she was like, I know she had a hysterectomy. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's something else going on. To this day, y'all, I be like, why you had a hysterectomy, girl? She be like, this is my business. I be like, mm.
But it could help you, like in what you
Yeah,
have
I be
going
like,
on.
girl, but whatever. So I ended up doing a lot of research, and at the time I lived in Alabama. So I wanted to see a geneticist, and I wanted to see somebody whose IVF success rates were like really, really high. A lot of people don't know that they have to publish those.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a lot of people going through IVF don't know that there's like they actually have to. I think it's on the CDC, maybe. It's on one of them little websites, but they have to publish their results. So those things were really important to me, and somebody that was affordable. So then I went to Alabama Fertility in Montgomery. I think they got one in Montgomery and Birmingham. But I went there, and that started a very long process. But after getting all of the tests done there, they was able to tell me so much about me and my little body. So they was able to tell me I have like a blood clotting disorder. What is it called? Protein S deficiency. They did a reoccurring loss panel. They just did a bunch of different things. I still have unexplained infertility. So I still don't know what's going on, but I got a little closer.
Yeah.
So at this point, I've had 3 transfers, but they haven't been successful. I've gotten pregnant, but they haven't been successful.
I'm sorry to hear that. because that's what we were going to ask, was where are you currently in your journey? So are you still open to trying? What's your outlook on that?
Oh, hold on. Let me think. I put my phone on D&D. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm a
No,
little
you fine.
let me put it on D&D for the girls. Where I am in my journey. Okay, this is an exclusive. I had a baby in March and she passed away, but I was 22 weeks. So I just had a baby. I told everybody, and their mama, I am not doing this no more.
Mm.
I said, y'all don't ask me. I'm done. I ain't done, y'all. Why they listen to me? I'm not done. I think, not I think, in the next month after my birthday, because I want to drink. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I want to drink.
Okay,
So
understandable.
I want to drink, baby. I'm trying to be upside down. I'm from
Up.
the car. Listen, okay? But I'm gonna go into another cycle. I know that I'm gonna do it before the end of the year. Um, I do know that. So I'm gonna do another transfer. And if that don't work, I don't know.
Got you. So you were successful in collecting enough eggs to do multiple transfers?
Yes, I have PCOS. So I over listen,
Stimulate. Yeah.
tell the girlies, the PCOS girlies, listen, you have to be very careful when you're doing that egg retrieval because I ended up with the OHSS. I
Yep.
could be wrong with the
No,
initials.
that is what it is.
Okay, yes, baby, and did not know. I thought I was like, "Ooh, this hurt," but they tell you like you're gonna be in pain. Woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't move. I said, "Oh no, baby, what is this? This is
Yeah.
So I had to do a whole little hospital stay because of that. And then that's the thing too. Listen, when you're going through this fertility thing, you think that other doctors know what's going on. They do not. They do not. Every doctor, even just going to the hospital on like as I'm pregnant or anything like that, these doctors be so confused. Like they be like, you doing what? You need to take what? You gotta do what? Or whatever. When I went through the OHSS, they was like, what do you mean? I'm like, baby, listen, they done took some eggs out of me. They done gave me the medicine. I done grew stuff. I don't know what's going on, baby, but some ain't right. It's
They
not
need a
right.
medical book to look
Right.
up at least,
Google.
not come to you and ask you what.
Right. I'm like, baby, I don't know what they did. Okay. I don't know what they did, but they did too much. Okay. And I need you to help me. I need you to help me. Them folks ain't want to help me. Listen, my life is a movie, okay? But I ended up going to the hospital where my IVF doctor has privileges at, and then I was fine. But I spent 2 days in the hospital. Them folks ain't know nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So I ended up with, let me get my numbers right. I think they got 30 eggs.
Oh,
And then I ended up with 12 because I ended up, no, I think it was 30, 24 of them they fertilized. And then I ended up with 12 normal quality. And it was a perfect split between boys and girls.
oh, awesome.
Yes, 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 yes.
So you did do the genetic testing, so all of that was good to go. Um,
Yeah.
when you were in the hospital, were the people that were treating you, were they African American?
No, they was white.
Okay.
See, that's the common denominator we come
Yeah.
across all day long is the non-African American doctors
Not listening
Mhm.
to
not
what
listening to
we're
the
saying.
patients.
Not listening to anything. I'm telling you that I'm in pain. You're not listening. You telling me that it's not that bad. You offering me Tylenol.
Yeah, no.
You
What's Tylenol is not going to do anything
Mm.
for you.
exactly. So that was like that's the experience. It
No.
was it was not a good one. And I think people don't understand like it's so much of people saying we have to advocate for ourselves. That is true. But at the same time, we have to be very careful in how we advocate, because it's a very thin line from us sticking up for ourselves to somebody feeling like we're being aggressive. And once we ring the bell of aggressiveness in their mind, we're automatically treated differently.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't want to come off like, like you don't know what you're doing, but in all respectfulness, you don't know what you're doing. And like, I feel like I'm about to die, so that was horrible. Or in those situations, I love talking about everything IVF. I love talking about babies. I love it. But when I'm in a medical crisis, baby, why is you asking me about my journey? Baby, it's about to end if you don't get me the correct help.
No, seriously, like I'm here for you to help me.
Like,
Ask
baby,
me
you
after I'm
asking me
stable.
the wrong thing. Like, what's up? Like, who got the morphine is what I need to know. So it, mm, mm,
No,
mm.
I completely understand. Let's see.
So, can you tell us the best and worst? I think you just told us the worst. But what's your best experience you've had through the process?
My doctor, Dr. Mann. She was with Alabama Fertility. I think now she's with Alabama Reproductive something. Baby, they got like the same name, but she just went down the street, honey. But find a good doctor. My best experience has been her. That lady has held my hand through so much, has cried with me, has really just been an advocate about timing. I started this process 4 years ago. My little embryos are 4 years old. They will be four in September. So they're 4 years old. For 4 years, through everything, I've had a fantastic doctor. I tell people it's worth it. Pay the money, go as far as you can go where there's somebody that's going to believe in you, somebody that's going to listen, somebody that when you come in for these follow-up appointments, they take the extra 5 minutes to read your chart, to greet you, to ask over holidays, hey, did you do anything? How's your mom? Those little things, they mean so much. And then also just it's all about the doctor, the clinic, the nurses there. Last year I did 2 transfers. So I did two I did baby, hold on. I did 3 transfers last year. I spent my entire year every week in Alabama. The clinic, the staff there, down to the phlebotomist. Like, I know that man, all his business. I done helped pick his grandchildren out a little gift while I'm sitting there getting my blood draw. I'm like, the girls is really liking Lilo and Stitch these days. You got to get the girls some Stitch. So just finding that, it helps when it comes down to billing. Knowing somebody in that office, baby, that's gonna be your saving grace. Okay, that's gonna be oh, let me see what I can do. Oh, you ain't gotta pay that when you come. Oh, we can put that on the back end. Oh, let me fight with your insurance. That's gonna be the difference between that. Nursing staff, everybody got to call you back. If you call the nurse line, they got to call you back. But if you're likable, they're going to call you back in 5 minutes versus you waiting 30 minutes. They're going to call you back and say, girl, what's going on? So just, I tell everybody, spend the money, do the research. We're already spending so much money.
Yeah.
Or if you're lucky, you get some type of insurance benefit. Your insurance spending a whole bunch of money. Baby, go somewhere where you're treated like this is our livelihood. This is what we want. This is building of a family. This ain't no little play. This ain't, you look now. I'm saying have a good primary doctor. I want the primary doctors to come get me. But you'll be all right if your primary ain't all that. You'll be all right, okay? But when you get into those specialties, you need to go where you're loved. So, like, my best experience through it all is Dr. Mann. I was gonna name my baby after her 3 transfers ago, but listen, I transfers in, the names have came and went.
Yeah.
So, so I don't know, but that's been the best thing for me. It's just the clinic that I was at has been the best thing.
So, what resources do you use to pay for your infertility treatments?
Okay, y'all. So Progeny was what got me through the first part. Progeny got me through my egg retrieval and my first transfer. Half of my first transfer, they had cut me off, but I tried to be a little slick. The billing department caught it, so I'm still paying for my first transfer 4 years later. But that's neither here nor there. $50 a month
That's
keeps
all
the
right.
billing connection people away. Okay, but I got them $50, baby. You can't get it all, but you get a little 50-50. But Progeny, which if people don't know, it is just a really good wraparound kind of infertility insurance. It's bundled with jobs. You can't get it on the private market, which they are missing their mark. They leaving money on the table, but that's neither here nor there. I do think that there are some Facebook groups now that will that have like the jobs that have them or whatever that you can work for and you can get the progeny. Now, what I see the girls doing is starting at them jobs and then getting Cobra, which Cobra is when you leave a job, you can pay for the insurance for a little bit longer. I'm not gonna knock the girls, but I just feel like it, IVF specifically is a little too finicky for you to kind of put all your hope and faith into Cobra, okay? Because them Cobra expenses be like $700-800 for one person a month. You paying for that, and you may go to a clinic and it may take 6-7 months. Now I don't know. I can't speak for other people's pockets, but you know, you're
It's
gonna have seven,
expensive.
800 for 8 months plus going, plus medicine, plus so but if you like it and that's something that you can do, I recommend it. I would say stay at the job long enough. I think you could work at Starbucks part time. I thought about being a little barista, but I can't. That's too many instructions, baby.
Right.
I'd be like, honey, you said what? Okay, so that wasn't in me, but it's a lot of jobs. So I started with Progeny first. I lost my coverage through the first part through the first transfer. I think right before. Then I would self-pay for a very long time, for almost 2 years. I would self-pay. And then I don't want to teach the girls how to do this, but I'm gonna teach the girls. Okay. My insurance, which is United Healthcare, shout out to them. They do they big one every year. Okay, so as a part of getting ready for a transfer, there's a lot of things that they can do. I have polyps or whatever. So every time right before a transfer, they got to go on in there and get them polyps out, okay? I always pick the most expensive way to do it because they can do it in the office. Baby, I go down to the hospital. I need means a 2-day stay. I need the good anesthesia. I need all of the things, okay? The reason I need all of the things is because I'm trying to meet that deductible. You hear me? I got to meet that deductible, okay, baby? So I need whatever you got to put on that paper to tell the United Healthcare girls. That's what you do because I need it. Okay. So I go down there, I get me one of them. Okay. Boom. Even the water, the ultrasound, the cyst, I think it's the SIS.
SIS. Mhm.
Yes. Baby, they can do that at the office. Not for me, girl. We gonna go down to the hospital. And I'm gonna get a little anesthesia because I can't take it. That's what I'm gonna do.
I didn't know
Oh,
that was
but
an option.
put me to sleep. Baby, you got to talk to these doctors. Baby, what can you do and what can't you do? Baby, what days is you down to the hospital? Because I was down there too. What's up? Doing, I'm doing all the things to eat up that deductible. I'm gonna eat it up. So that's why I say this year. Now I'm gonna say this. I don't know how y'all feel, but I got a little sense of humor. My baby's so dramatic. The way my baby came into this world, dramatic. Okay, dramatic. So she came, then I did have a little problem, y'all. I bled out, I hemorrhaged real bad, had a blood transfusion, all of these things, okay? but I'm all right. I'm good. I say that to say, baby, that was like a $400,000 bill. Baby, I don't have no deductible known to mankind at this point. I done ate up everything, okay? My United Healthcare, it say med, network, out network, deductibles, out of pocket, everything is met. So I know that this year I'm going to do another transfer just because it makes sense. At this point, I'm not paying anything out of pocket.
Yeah.
But I would say that to people when trying to decide if you have some type of insurance or whatever, and you have those deductibles, go ahead and eat them up. Is what you're gonna do. Eat them up.
Yeah.
Gone down to the hospital, for that cold that just won't go away, or you fall in the house.
Like your back hurt.
Whatever you feel like you need emergency care on, I want you to go on down there and get it. That's what I want you to do. I want you to eat it up. And also call your insurance company. Everybody's insurance have I don't know what them ladies call care coordinators or whatever. Call them people, ask them people, hypothetically talk to them people. When you go down to your doctor and you talking to them, you ask them to do pre-offs. Call them people. If you feel like you ain't gonna have a transfer to December, you say, can you do the little pre-authorization in August? Because I need to make sure they're gonna pay what they're gonna pay. Because see, a lot of times too, which I made this mistake too, I'm just going with the flow, just going. Y'all submitting my pre-off a week before I got the procedure, and you coming back to tell me I owe you $2,000. Baby, I got kids, I got a house, I got a man, I got big girl bills, okay? 2,000 well. Let me call somebody. Then that'd be the thing too. You don't think you could borrow? I don't know what type of family you think I come from. They was asking me on my way down here. Ray was asking me for $30. Who am I call? So be prepared. Be prepared. Use your insurance. Make sure you know your exclusions. Me personally, I've never had like a tubal litigation. Like I guess that's when they take your tubes out or tie them or burn them or fry them down, lay it to the side. I ain't never had that. However, they say, baby, if you done went down there and you done got that done, that a lot of insurances say, baby, you made your decision years ago. And they say, we not covering that. So you need to know like your situation. Call your insurance to see what they would do. But that's what I did, baby. Payment plans. I did a bunch of payment. I'm still paying people $50, y'all. It's
nothing
really
wrong with it. I love a good payment plan because it's very expensive.
yes.
And if
Very,
you are
very, very
going to like an affordable, and those affordable places, they don't have good reviews because all that they're worried about is
The bottom
money.
line.
yes. Yes. And sometimes it's worth a little bit more money. I would tell people that all the time. It's worth a little bit more. I know a lot of people are big on the CNY places or whatever. I had a little consult with them. I don't know. It seemed very brief to me. It seemed very brief. And for me, any doctor I go to, I know I have an allotted time, but I pay attention to the people that try to rush you through your time. Cause this is a big financial decision. Baby, I feel like you should know what I was doing and what I wore on the first day of school in second grade.
Yes.
Like you about to be all up in my coochie. Like what's going on?
Right. Exactly.
Like I don't want to just sit down and somebody just like, oh, well, how many times have you been pregnant? And, whoop de whoop. And then they're just like, well, we're going to do IVF. See you back next week. Baby, wait a minute.
Right.
I don't even know you. What's going on? So the mini clinics, if that's all you can afford, it's all you can afford. Go where you can afford. But I just do your research. Do your research. If it takes too long to schedule you, and baby, it's gonna take too long when you got a question that you need answered.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If scheduling fish number one got an attitude when you calling, that ain't for you. Why, how you mad and all you doing is scheduling?
Right.
How you upset? If the nurse got an attitude, this is the person that's gonna call you to tell you if you're pregnant or not. Like, you might want to make sure she got a good attitude and a good outlook on life.
You're
You
right.
know, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing your transfers, are they just transferring like one embryo at a time? Do they give you a choice to do two at a time?
Y'all gonna make me cry.
Well, no,
Uh,
I don't want you to cry, but please share.
because I genetically tested my embryos, I can only do one at a time.
Mm.
And because of where my clinic is in the country state of Alabama, I can only do one transfer at a time. Um, oh, this gonna hurt me to say. I don't recommend genetically testing your embryos.
Mm. Is it just because you're in the state of Alabama and they have so many I can't even say it,
Regulations.
regulations? Yeah.
Yeah, so Alabama has regulations on its own. However, um, because they were genetically tested and because they were rated good quality eggs, embryos, they most places outside of Alabama, just in general, most reproductive clinics will not transfer to.
Mm.
I'm not old enough. That's the thing. I've had complicated pregnancies, so then they say that's a thing. And then because they're graded, they say that's a thing. If
Complete.
I would have known that then, I'm grateful that they were genetically tested because gender selection is real. I know a lot of people don't like that. I want a little girl, so I'm running out though. Okay, so I don't know what we gonna do. If y'all see me next year with a little boy,
We know
mind
what happened.
you, okay. But I'm happy for that. I'm happy because some of the embryos were bad. A lot of the girl embryos had Turner syndrome. So I'm happy for that. But at the same time, I'm going into my fourth transfer. I feel like I really just want to transfer two and be done. It's not gonna give me an elevated risk of twins like everybody thinks when you say, "Oh, I'm transferring two," it's gonna automatically result in twins. And that's not true. They're gonna be in there fighting survival of the fittest. They both may win. They may be a mean little fighting machine, and they both may win. But I think I do want to transfer two, but it's just not possible for me right now where I'm at.
Mhm.
And the biggest reason has been because they're two good quality embryos, and it's just basically like guaranteeing twins. So
Do you have the option of moving your embryos?
I do. I actually am going to move them from one clinic down the street to my
Okay.
doctor. I'm following my doctor,
Okay.
which is why I probably need to get them people more than $50 so that I can go and get that, because right now they got custody of the
They
kids.
got custody of
They
your
got
embryos.
custody. So I got to give them more than $50 this month. So I go and get my kids and send them to the new clinic because I'm following my doctor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. At least you do have that option. And I say for genetic testing, the reason that I look at it as good is because you could have so
Information.
many more miscarriages just because you don't know if they're going to be fully developed, if they do have a disease that your body would detect before doctors would. So that's why I look at genetic testing as good, but I see how you can view it as because it
Definitely.
could
Definitely
lead
pros
to
and
so
cons.
much, yeah, struggles with doctors. And for our age, they want you to have one foot in the grave before they transfer to
Yeah,
embryo. I'm like,
yes. Yes. So if this transfer doesn't work, I think I'm gonna just go ahead. I think I'm gonna do another egg retrieval. Ooh, that hurt to say. But I think I'm gonna do another egg retrieval. And I think that one I'm not going to get them tested. Ugh. Jesus. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it definitely has its pros and cons. It is more beneficial for you to do the genetic testing. Like I wholeheartedly agree. I just think um I'm ready to put this chapter in my life behind me. I've spent every year since I was like 19 either pregnant or trying to get pregnant.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to put the chapter behind me. And so for me, my circumstances may lead me to not do genetic testing, but I would, that's just me.
No, I completely understand, and you have my prayers and deepest sympathies for your losses, and I wish you like the best in the journey because I know it's hard. I told God in the beginning of my journey, I said, God, I got one cycle in me. And I hope that you help me out with that because mentally, like I love our Facebook group, and hearing women's stories. And sometimes you need that because IVF can be lonely even if you do have good supporters. I feel like
Yes.
it's still your process and you are in it. You're doing the shots, you're going to the appointments.
Hmm.
So yeah, who has been your biggest supporter through all of this?
I don't, I don't feel, uh, it ain't nobody to name. God, you know,
And nothing is wrong with that because a
yeah,
lot of times it is mostly me and God having a conversation.
yeah, that's that. Support groups, writing on I'm in like so many different Facebook groups. So that's that. The people that you meet in some of the Facebook groups, they end up getting you through the transfer, but it has its high points and its low points because a lot of times you'll meet somebody like they'll be like, who has the same transfer date. You'll meet them, you'll ride it out. One person gets pregnant, one person doesn't. One
Yeah.
person has a miscarriage, one person goes on to have their baby. So then that kind of strains it unintentionally. You go through that. And then I think when you go through loss, I don't think people understand the emotional toll that it takes, and they don't understand why we choose to keep enduring it. And
Yeah.
so then that part becomes lonely. Like this next transfer, nobody, I'm not forthcoming and telling anybody.
No, I
Like
understand.
it's I don't want to hear the noise. I feel like even when my daughter passed away and people asked me and I would be like, yeah, I'm going to do another transfer. I was just met with so much just,
You would get the side eye. Why are you doing this? Why do you keep putting yourself through this?
but I tell people all the time, you go home to your kids, you go home to your family. Imagine your life without those kids. If you're a good parent, some people, they be like, girl, yeah.
You dump your kids off on whoever.
Right. But like, imagine your life without those kids. And I'm like, so knowing that, how can you not understand why that's not what, I want? Like, I want that.
Right.
I, um, I want, and I have children, but I've been blessed to adopt, to foster. I do have a biological child as well, but all of my children have come in some type of disorder, chaos. Just I've never experienced the newborn stage. I've never experienced leaving the hospital with a baby.
Okay.
I've never got discharged from the hospital after being pregnant with the child. Never. So there's so many things that I've just like missed out on. There's so many just things. So for me, it's like those things are very important to me and they're a driving force. And when I signed up for IVF, I knew that I wouldn't be the one in 500 that it works on the first try, no complications. I mean, for the people that it does, good, great, glad for you. But I knew that wasn't going to be me. So even though I'm going through these losses, for me, it's like I signed up for this.
Yeah.
And I know when. I can't let anybody else tell me when. Like even you saying, like, I knew that I had one cycle, that was a you thing.
Yeah.
If somebody on the outside was saying, girl, you only gonna do this one time, it's like, girl, what you talking about?
Right.
Know, like
Exactly.
because we're going through it, we have to come to terms with it. So yeah, I'm going. So, my support, honestly, at this point, it is just God. And that's okay, because God gonna get me through it.
You're right. Yeah, I completely understand. And yeah, you have to be strong for you at every point because it's only you that's going through the process. It's you that puts you to sleep at night to deal with everything that you're going through. So,
Hmm.
one piece of advice that you would give a woman thinking about embarking on her infertility journey?
It's okay to be, it's okay to feel whatever feeling you feel. You can be terrified and still want to do it. You can be anxious and still want to do it. You can be angry and still want to do it. You cannot want to give yourself those shots and still want to do it. You could cry every day and still want to do it. It's okay. I think I wish along the way somebody would have told me it was okay, because it is a crazy headspace to be in
Yeah.
where you don't want to do it anymore, but you want to do it, but
Right.
you don't want to do it anymore.
It's an internal struggle with
Yes,
you and yourself.
yes. And so I think just knowing that it's okay and being sure in yourself that it's okay. Because yes, we can have a support system. Yes, there are great people that'll be there for you, but it is so hard to explain. Like, I used to cry every day taking those progesterone shots. And I didn't get off progesterone shots until, baby, I think I was 18 weeks pregnant. And then you start them like maybe a month before the transfer, I think. Like, my timing could be wrong, but I had already did 2 other transfers that year. So I had been on progesterone for basically a whole year, giving myself those shots. And I used to cry every day, every day. Like, my body, like, I used to time them, set an alarm, girl. After a while, my body knew. I'd be sitting at work and be like, I just be sad. Like, girl, what you sad for? 30 minutes later, here go the alarm. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think me trying to explain to people, like, because on the outside, it's like, well, just stop, just stop. And it's like, but I can't,
Right.
but I can't.
You have a goal in mind. You want to experience the motherness the way that it's supposed to be experienced. Your
Yeah.
baby, you have a healthy pregnancy, healthy delivery, and your baby comes home with you.
Yes, I would say that. And then I would give this advice too, because I've seen a lot of, especially in the fertility groups. I'm gonna upset the girls. But if you in a relationship with somebody and it's just a relationship, I ain't talking about your husband or your wife or whoever you married to, if they use different pronouns. But if you're not married, get a sperm donor. Just get a sperm donor. This gonna save you a lot of heartache. It's gonna save you a lot of drama. It's gonna save you a lot of just unnecessary stuff, because you start this journey. Some people have very linear